With Jeff Hardy on his last chance in AEW and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John and you're watching the Wrestling Report for June 25th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Speaking about his dealings with injuries, Kenny Omega told Fightful that he has been dealing with vertigo since a dropkick from Okada in 2018. I first noticed that it was an issue that had turned up in one of the G1. It's called the semifinals match. It was the Block B decision-making match to decide who was going to the finals and had one of Okada's dropkicks. This, I guess, all sort of ties into Forbidden Door in some sort of way. But I had taken one of Okada's dropkicks from New Japan, who we're working with coming up this weekend, and it was just one of those strange. It happens once every million times. The way that he turns over on the dropkick, the way that I had fell, put me right underneath his knee. So he did kind of like this back flipping knee drop on my temple. I guess it put something out. I guess it put out my C1 in my neck. I thought it was just more of like a traumatic blow, like blunt force trauma to the head type thing. It was a big knee drop on my head. What I didn't realize until the day after in the morning was that something was out. Something was wrong. As soon as I stood up, I fell over. You know, you think you're going to walk straight, but you're walking at an angle. I fell into a dresser and knocked over a bunch of stuff that was, glass and things. It was rough. It was scary, so I thought, okay, I'm going to calm myself. I'm going to calm my breathing and go back to bed, and hopefully when I wake up, this will all be like a terrible memory. And I was able to figure out what made it really bad was when I had to get up from a lying state flat on the ground. I just put it in my head what I was going to do in the match. Whatever I do, I have to avoid being on my back flat a lot and try to be on my side, or at least set to a side position as quickly as I could regardless of what happened in the match. And I remember near the beginning, it felt like it was yesterday. It was a part in the match where I take kind of a jumping neck breaker type thing, and I just stayed laying on my back too long, and for a second I was like, oh no, like I just did myself in. I totally forgot, and this is going to get really rough because we've just started this match. We're about like 5-7 minutes in, but we were able to get back on track. It worked out alright, but it was scary, and it had been a problem that if my C1 went back out, it would come back. And sometimes I would have moments where I would have good 8 months, 9 months, but then even just having a bad bus ride, a bad plane ride might put it out, and it was just something that I had to always make sure that I had access to someone who knew how to fix it, to have them on hand at all times, because the last thing I would want to do is feel that way in a ring and have the responsibility of my own safety or someone else's safety in my hands at that point. Definitely didn't want to do that. Touching on Roman Reigns going from a heavily booed babyface to his tribal chief persona, Kurt Angle told the Two-Man Power Trip podcast that Roman Reigns dug himself out of a hole in WWE. I genuinely have a ton of respect for Roman. Vince McMahon pushed him from the beginning and he wasn't ready to be pushed, and fans started hating him. And he had to dig himself out of the hole. And it was a really deep hole too. And he did it. I mean, to be able to come out of that and prove to everybody you're the best worker in the business, amazing. When Vince McMahon wants to push someone and fans don't think he deserves it, fans are going to shit on them, and they were shitting on Roman for a while, but not anymore. He's earned everybody's respect. With the likes of CM Punk, Adam Cole, and Bryan Danielson being injured recently, it seems another name can be added to the injury list according to the Wrestling Observer, as they noted that Jungle Boy is now out of action after being attacked by Christian Cage on TV last week. Speaking to his wife on the sessions, Jon Moxley, ahead of his Forbidden Door match against Tanahashi, said that those in AEW had told him to stop working for New Japan before this deal was worked out. There were plenty of people that told me to stop working for New Japan. They did not understand it. They were like, you should stop going there. I knew that I was like the last linchpin, the last domino. If I fell, then there would be no communication ever. There were so many people on both sides that were agreeing with me. It just didn't open the communication. I think like when that Herald guy got fired from New Japan, I think that kind of opened it up a a little bit. Moxley would also give insight into how he feels coming back from rehab to pro wrestling. When I first wrestled again, I came back in January. It was weird. It felt strange. I came back and did a promo, and that was cool because I didn't have to do anything physical. I just got to talk. I was super relaxed. My first match back, you think, now you're sober, you're going to feel like $1 million. It doesn't really work like that. It was weird. It was like my legs were in quicksand. I didn't have any adrenaline. Not so much that I didn't have adrenaline, so much as I wasn't nervous. It's hard to put into words, but it used to be this big, long, giant process to get ready to go out and do a match, this transformation to get ready to go to the ring. People who don't spend their lives partying too much probably take for granted just waking up in the morning and feeling good. I feel like I'm cheating. The novelty hasn't fully worn off. Just waking up and being like, okay, I don't have to worry about being massively dehydrated or feeling like crap. For me, it's like I have a cheat code. The first match, I felt terrible. I felt off. It was weird. I can't really explain it. I was like chemically imbalanced, and it was strange. It got a little better the next match. I finally wrestled Bryan Danielson at the pay-per-view. More or less went to the ring like the first time I ever met him. Just got in the ring and wrestled. And then I started feeling my mojo again, but it took me like a month. Talking about the possibility of wrestling WWE star Paige when she becomes a free agent next month, Impact Knockouts champion Jordynne Grace told SE Scoops, I think she would be incredible. She's so well known. She's one of the women that started the women's revolution, so I think it would be vital for any company to have her and utilize her, even if it's not in a wrestling role. Something that stood out to me is I think she said she feels 100%, but she's not cleared. So I don't know if she hasn't talked to a doctor or what's the deal with that, but obviously I would absolutely love to wrestle with her. But if she can't wrestle, I think she can do any number of things in wrestling. Given the scandal at WWE and Vince McMahon stepping down as chairman and CEO following an alleged affair with Hush Money, former WWE star Ryback has taken to Twitter to comment on the situation. Reminder, Vince McMahon is absolutely done with WWE. There will be others gone as well. Just wait until they start finding the really good shit, pal. I will personally piss and shit on your grave the first chance I get. Fuck you, Vince, you little bitch old man. As the U.S. Supreme Court recently overturned abortion rights federally, Becky Lynch had shared pro-choice stories on Instagram as former WWE star Jaxson Ryker responded. Many posts I've seen today are heartbreaking, Becky Lynch being one. That life inside them isn't just a clump. You as a mother should see how precious life is. Those babies in the womb have a right to live. I pray you come to see the bigger picture. Lynch replied, yes, I chose to be mother to a daughter that I could safely deliver and afford to raise. A daughter deserves autonomy over her own body. Banning abortions doesn't stop them, it stops safe ones. God bless you, your ignorance and lack of uterus. During an Ask Dogg Anything special, Road Dogg gave his thoughts on the walkout of Sasha Banks and Naomi on Raw, saying the reason I thought it was a work is because they were talking about it so much on TV. Well, then I find out it's not a work and they're suspending them, and they're talking horrible about them on TV. I think they did the same thing when Stone Cold left, but I don't think it's beneficial for anybody. When it came to WWE announcing this news of their departure, he said there were business differences, and sorry to announce, we had to take the titles from them and we'll be holding a tournament, you know what I mean? To me, that's how you leave it, and you don't air dirty laundry because some of that dirty got on because of you. Look, I can say, and I don't overstate this, Naomi is the greatest thing in the world to work with, and she'd do anything you'd ask her, and she'd always have ideas and suggestions. And look, when she was on SmackDown, she was the SmackDown Women's Champion when I was writing the show, that's for dang sure. Joy to work with, and an entertaining young lady. Sasha, same. Entertaining young lady, great wrestler, great professional wrestler, but had some stuff in the past where she bucked up against the system a little bit. When asked if the situation could be better for wrestlers, Dogg said, 100% there could always be more, and that's not in wrestling, booking, and writing, that's in life. I can always do better, and you're right, life happens, man, and situations occur. When we had some time with Vince, and all we had time to talk about was John Cena or Roman Reigns, and we didn't get to talk about that. He'd go on to recall his WWE walkout with Jeff Jarrett in 1995, when they were told their Roadie and Double J alliance would be broken up earlier than anticipated. I've been exactly where where they've been. I just know that it doesn't help. It doesn't help anything. I would love to know the reason why they put their titles up and walked out. If you came and told me that they were not getting paid what they should be getting paid, I support them 100%. But if it was a creative decision that they were not happy with, you gotta put that aside and do business. You have to. It's business, man. Nobody's really beating you if that's what you gotta tell yourself. With NBC Sports Boston, Damian Priest revealed Bad Bunny is sure to make a return to WWE, saying it comes down to he had a perfect time in his schedule that he was like, I'm not doing anything. I'm going to move to Florida just to train and completely invest all my energy and time into this. He's not someone that just wanted to come in and then leave or just promote something. He wanted to get invested. If he gets that time again where he could devote himself 100%, I believe we'll see Bad Bunny in the WWE ring again. As Randy Orton is said to need surgery for spinal issues, which should keep him out of action for the rest of the year, according to Fightful. An account on Twitter recently posted these photos of the Viper in public, writing, pics from yesterday of Randy Orton at a pool in St. Charles, Missouri with a few lucky fans. He must have shaved the day before because he had a stash and slight beard growth, but here he's basically clean shaven. Looks in great shape still. Here's to a fast recovery from surgery, bud. With Jeff Hardy arrested recently for DUI, AEW President Tony Khan said during a media call ahead of Forbidden Door that Jeff is on his last chance in the company. I'm really glad nobody got hurt, but what Jeff did going out and driving is different from the other thing. And I just don't like hearing the two compared, if that makes sense. I feel like it'd be remiss if I didn't give Jeff a lot of credit for now doing the right thing, and this is what we said. Jeff's got to do the right thing if he wants to stay with AEW because it's his last chance. With Hardy entering a treatment program following his suspension without pay, we hope for all the best to come. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.